Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about True Power, the third studio album from American metalcore and post-hardcore crew, Prevail. There were a lot of new and new-ish metalcore and post-hardcore bands turning lots and lots of heads in the 2010s. Like you had Knocked Loose, Code Orange, Ice Nine Kills, Turnstile, just to name a few. All of these bands have their own unique sounds, their own unique vibes and identities, and they've all seen a lot of success because of that. But with all due respect, none of these bands have seen the same level of success that Prevail have seen within such a small amount of time. I mean, everything that Prevail have done, from their debut EP to the two studio albums that would follow, Lifelines and Trauma, they all debuted on the Billboard 200. Prevail have had a bunch of hit singles from all of these records. They also have a viral cover of Taylor Swift's Blank Space, which currently has about 72 million views racked up on YouTube alone. The aforementioned Trauma even managed to rack up a couple of Grammy nominations, the first of which being Best Metal Performance, the second of which being Best Rock Album, which is honestly kind of insane to really think about, to really wrap my head around, because it's not exactly an everyday occurrence that, like, a young metalcore band is recognized by the Grammys, of all fucking people. The point is, Prevail is kind of a big fucking deal. And not only are Prevail very much aware of this, they look to build, to capitalize on the fact that they're a big fucking deal, to build on this momentum and to expand in all kinds of new and exciting ways on True Power. As lead singer Brian Burkheiser states in this press release, "We've been grinding non-stop on this record since the summer of 2020, and it really shows us as the band we want to be. We took a no-rules mentality to songwriting. The songs are as diverse as they've ever been." And honestly, right off the bat, I gotta say, Brian's kind of right. This is surprisingly a very diverse, a very dynamic, flexible, and colorful record. Now, they've always borrowed little bits and pieces from like pop punk and hip hop and rap metal, but here they're kind of fully indulging in these influences. Like, I'm reminded of Linkin Park and like some Hollywood Undead stuff, but fused with like Bring Me the Horizon and Architects. Everything is mixed to be as crisp and as clean and as glossy as possible. Hooks and melodies pop and sizzle in the forefront of the sound like a literal firework. And overall, the band just sounds really confident in what they're doing, and they sound really happy doing what they're doing, which helps to further sell all of this material. Is it a perfect record? Absolutely not. In fact, some of the genre fusion shit is a little clumsy, a little silly, even a little bit obnoxious, and there's also still a lot of like really generic, repetitive, cookie-cutter, metalcore, post-hardcore, hot topic tripe that you kind of have to shovel through first in order to get to the really interesting bits and pieces. But all things considered, warts and all, I will concede I got a lot more out of this album than I expected to. You have tracks like Body Bag and Choke, for instance, which are surprisingly very intense, very in-your-face, very violent, very cutthroat. The former of which blends the kind of fast-paced, angry momentum of, like, 90s hardcore with, like, pop-punk and early 2000s post-hardcore, while the latter just goes balls-to-the-wall heavy with these thick, genty, groove-laden beatdowns. These two tracks are without question the heaviest on the record, and honestly, probably my favorite. I also do find myself liking tracks like Bad Things, and There's Fear of Letting Go, and Fake, which kind of find an ooey-gooey sweet spot between the angst and the melodrama expected of like post-hardcore and pop-punk, and they blend it with like full-on pop metal. They're by no means incredible, but they are effective, filled with some really strong, punchy choruses, some really great clean vocals, and yeah, even a few decent riffs here and there. Like, honestly, if these tracks had come out while I was in high school in, like, the late 2000s, early 2010s, I feel like a lot of my classmates would have fallen head over heels in love with this fucking stuff. I probably would have fucking hated it, but then again, I was kind of a little snotty, thrash, elitist asshole in high school, so what the fuck ever. Those same classmates also probably would have really loved stuff like Judgment Day or Visceral, two very straightforward, kind of hot topic metalcore songs that aren't really doing a lot for me, but again, they're slick, they're well produced, they're well performed. Not my cup of tea, but you know, I won't spit it out if you serve it to me. I will bite my tongue, I will say thank you for the tea, and I will move on with my day. Where the record does begin to legitimately lose me is when it begins to really incorporate influence from hip-hop and rap and nu metal. Now, I should note that there are in general a lot of influences from these genres across the entire record. Like, you'll get little bits and pieces where someone is rapping or there's an electronic beat or whatever. But the songs that, like, fully indulge in these realms are just really turning me the fuck off, and for lack of a better word, they're making me fucking cringe. FWYTYK, for instance, sounds like if somebody tried to do, like, a really edgy metalcore cover of a Ghostmain song. It's complete with, like, mumbled vocals and auto-tune and some trap-style beats and some, like, really harsh electronic passages contrasted with some really, like, overly heavy riffery. You also have Self-Destruction, which sounds like the same kind of, like, over-the-top, edgy rap metal tripe I might expect from, like, Hollywood Undead back in the day. And then there's Deep End, which at first plays out like a very straightforward and emotive kind of post-hardcore ballad/anthem type number. I mean, it's pretty simple, kind of lame if you ask me, but, you know, it's harmless. And then there's some rapping that's introduced, and suddenly I feel as if I'm at a 1,000-foot Crutch concert. And I don't like that. Not one bit. No thank you. I'm definitely rejecting that tea. In fact, I'm throwing it in your fucking face. The closing track 2, Doomed, is just so fucking lame. Like, the sappiest, most basic bitch piano ballad imaginable. The type of thing that the most generic run-of-the-mill pop star would have looked at and been like, nah, this ain't fucking good enough, and they would have cut it off of their album. But I guess Prevail fucking walked into the studio and scraped it up off the floor and said, well, it's just good enough for us, god damn it. It's going on the album. In fact, it's gonna close the whole fucking thing out. Not a smart decision, in my opinion. Hi, hello, hey, how you doing? So, I was editing this video, and I got to the part where I give my final score, and originally I was going to give this a 2.5 out of 5, because it's very slick, it's very well produced, very well performed, there are a couple legitimately pretty solid songs, and overall it's a totally harmless, modern metalcore, pop metal album, but, you know, I kind of realized for every song I like or even tolerate, there's another song that I just really do not enjoy. Like, all the songs I mentioned, plus a bunch of stuff that's, like, really derivative of, like, Linkin Park style nu metal and rap metal, like Long Live the King and The Negative, and there's also a lot of, like, really bad fucking lyrics, so instead, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. I will say, warts and all, I did still get much more out of this album than I expected, and I would still recommend this to anyone who really likes I Prevail, but I can't really say even that it's okay, because it's got a lot of fucking issues. Still kind of boggles my brain that this band is as big and as popular as they are, but, like, whatever. At least I got something out of this record. Not a lot, but something. 2 out of 5. It's not good. It's not good, but it's not horrible either. Do with that whatever you will. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.